Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Well, you all got the best of both worlds because all the videos associated with my eclipse trip will be uploaded at the same time, so you won't have to wait and be in suspense after watching video number one. So I am making this one actually video number 3 out of 4. I said I was going to do this in 3 parts. I said that I would do the first video, which you've already seen, and I'm putting them all in numerical order, so you know which ones to watch in the what order to watch them in. The eclipse event video should have been video number 2, but what I did was I came on probably maybe an hour before the eclipse itself happened, the totality. I came on for about 3 minutes during the partial phase of the eclipse just to show you the atmosphere and what was going on, the crowds, that type of thing. And I talked about how I liked it and or didn't, what I didn't like about it, that type of thing. Okay, then the third video was actually the totality event. That video will run you 20 minutes, and I started 12 minutes before totality because what I wanted to illustrate through the video was how much darker it was getting, how it looked outside. And now that I've watched the video, I can tell you this in advance. That's why I'm making this video. I decided, okay, I'm going to do my final video first and then make the actual event the final video. So this is video 3, just explaining what all happened, how I felt, all that stuff and everything. Because I will tell you, and I'm going to post a link to this video of WTOL. We were in Toledo, Ohio, and I thank all the people of Ohio for being so nice and welcoming to the thousands and thousands, probably millions, of people who flooded into Ohio after finding out that Ohio was going to be the sweet spot. And that it was. Oh my God. But let me back up. I'm jumping ahead of myself here. Okay, so I have the actual video from WTOL, which I'm going to add a link to in the, I'm gonna try in the comments. I don't even know how to add to the description box and all that stuff y'all be talking about. So I'm gonna add it to the comments. It's gonna be a link. So that way you will see the full spectrum, probably the last 3 minutes before totality, and you're gonna see the totality in that video, but you will at least be able to see exactly how dark it was. You'll be able to see the planets. You'll be able to see all the spectacular stuff that happened before totality, the diamond ring, the Bailey's beads, all that. And you're going to see the crowd reaction, of course, and you're going to see the eclipse itself and the spectacularness of it, okay? So, but theirs is the best example of what I'm going to try to explain. Now, my video, I think I captured a very good shot of the eclipse, but everything in my video, it looks like it's still daytime. And that's because, first of all, the lights came on. There were a lot of cameras and stuff going off. People were filming, including myself, of course, these lights. And I think my camera has a special light on it that when it's dark, it's going to automatically add light so that you can get whatever it is you're filming. So when I'm explaining in the video that it's looking funny and weird outside and that it's getting darker by the second, that type of thing, when it gets to the point, I'm gonna tell y'all what happened, because I started off like procrastinating. I was like, this ain't it. I'm thinking to myself, I didn't say it wasn't spectacular, but I mean, I was just kind of nonchalant about the whole event, thinking that it wasn't going to really climax the way that it did. But, you know, I'm just telling you about it. You know, I'm telling about how I hate crowds, and it was thousands there, and I don't like a lot of crowds. The loud music, and I will do my disclaimer because I got a strike from YouTube a few weeks ago. Wait a minute, I used a Marvin Gaye song to sing about some seeds, okay? Oh, that's another story. That's for the Que-stead part, the homestead video. But anyway, I got struck, so I had to delete the video. So it's gonna be all kind of music in the video and loud at that. So I will put that disclaimer, and hopefully YouTube, if you see it, please know I was not trying to post music, not deliberately like that foolishness I did last week. But it's just because I was at the event. So I hope y'all let that go. But I will put that disclaimer that I do not own the copyright to that music. And this is for, an event, so hopefully it'll fly. We'll see. But anyway, so I talked about that at the beginning of it, that 20 minutes. And as time went on, it was looking more and more weird outside, and it was getting darker and darker outside. And like I say, you're not going to see that because my camera, it picked up a little grayness, but it's going to look like I'm just standing outside in the daytime. It's going to look cloudy. It was not a cloud in the sky, but it looked cloudy. It looked like it was perhaps, people were saying it looked like it was about to storm or it looked like dusk. It didn't look like that to me. And I explained that. I talked about everything I was seeing throughout the whole thing, so you'll know what I'm talking about. But you won't be able to see that because it did, from my camera point of view, it did look cloudy. It did look like it was about to storm, but it was nowhere close to that. It just looked weird. It looked like the percentage of the sun had been blocked out and the sun had lost its shine. That's what it looked like. I called it in the video, I said, to me, it's afterglow. And then I said, well, perhaps it's just from the glow of the moon, because I'm going to describe the moon in a few minutes, because that was the star of the show until. Okay, so basically we're seeing the moon shadow and stuff. So all that's descending onto the area where we were. So I think that's what we were seeing, the moon shadow or whatever. But it looked creepy, to tell you the truth. It looked very creepy, but not a creepy that would scare you, because we knew what was happening. If you did not know what was happening, I thought about it during that moment. I was like, people in the 1800s or before science became, so pronounced like it is now, people way back when, I wonder how they reacted. And I bet it was a lot of blind folks, because, you can't look at the sun while the eclipse is, happening. I wonder what they thought about it. I wonder what, they didn't have predictions, and they didn't have, some of them did, but I mean, they didn't know. So I wonder how that happened. I'm even thinking like during slavery time, you out there baling the hay and all of a sudden, this happens, so, I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole. Okay. But anyway, okay. So it's looking weird. I think I got my point across about that. It was looking weird. Okay. So as time went on, and then I apologized. Well, I didn't apologize, but I said, now I get it. I said, I get it. And I was talking about how I get how people all of a sudden, want to chase eclipses and stuff, because the things that were happening at that time were happening so fast, but it was so spectacular as it happened. Then when I started, okay, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I started just losing it. Let me tell you this. This is the only way I can say it, because it's actually an indescribable thing. This is what I'll say, because I told y'all from the beginning, for me, it was spiritual. I knew from get-go, this is God's work. That was the sun and the sun and the moon obeying whatever it was he instructed the sun and moon to do on that date. See, he predestined this. And my sister and I were discussing it. We were saying, okay, he gave the scientists the wisdom to be able to predict it. He gave us that. The only thing he talks about is that we don't know the day nor the hour when Jesus will return. And I'm not going to get into a preaching thing, because I have not been called to the ministry or anything. I know what my gift is, the earthquake business. That's another story. I do not get into biblical things. I just try to learn and listen myself and read the Bible for myself. And I'm not one who tell people what you should do and what you should not do and all this stuff. But I will say this, because I told you it was spiritual for me. So basically, we know that God predestined. This is according to my belief. Now, whatever you believe, that's you. Okay, that's you. Believe me, I'm not trying to convert nobody. But based on what I believe and what many of you who may watch this believe, I believe that this was predestined by God. It's a gift from God. And I think that was his thing, his will of letting us know, okay, you think you've seen something today, but you haven't seen anything yet. Because we know that the most glorious event is going to be when Jesus returns and to rapture us, to be caught up in the air. And viewing this eclipse technically reminded me of that because of how it was. It was dark out. You could see nothing. I felt like I was in outer space. Okay, so now I'm getting to my description of what I saw prior to totality. That was amazing in and of itself. It got dark. Then it got to the point, okay, the lights came on and all that stuff. You're not going to see that, unfortunately, but you will see it on the link that I provide on this on this video. You will, no, not this video, but the video of the eclipse itself. The next video, you will see, you'll have that link. So I would suggest that you watch it first if you haven't already seen the eclipse videos, but just from my perspective, from where I was, because that was filmed at the location that I was at. So you'll see a stark difference of that video that was done professionally through the, the news people compared to my unprofessional. I ain't gonna lie, y'all, it was unprofessional, but it captures the essence. Okay, so basically mine will capture the essence of the event. It will do that. Okay, and I did get a good shot of the eclipse itself, of totality. But it just looks like it's daytime, but you'll be able to see it very well in my video. Okay, so anyway, so as we're leading up to this, all kind of spectacular things started happening within that last 2 minutes before totality. And I just started freaking out, as in excitement. I was like, wow. Oh, you know what? Let me back up again. Whether you are a believer, I'm backing up again, back to the holiness now. Whether you are a believer or if you are a non-believer, one thing about an eclipse, this is the one thing I will say. One thing I will say, God is going to make you worship him on that day if you ever see a total solar eclipse. I don't care if you believe or don't believe. While everybody's out there clapping, while everybody's out there yelling, while everybody's out there screaming and saying, wow, this is amazing and all this stuff, you are worshiping God because this is what he did to cause this to happen. No one else could have done it. No evolution, no person, nobody. Only God. So he's making you, he's letting you know whether you love me or whether you've accepted me or what, you're going to worship me regardless. And that's just what it was. When that sun and moon began to dance, as I say, and obey, and it's like this. This is the way I describe it, y'all. Okay, as we were leading up to totality, it got dark. It was dark enough to where you can look up at that sky and you saw the stars. Suddenly you saw the planets. I mean, Venus was really visible and Jupiter, but in the distance you can see the other planets. And you knew they were the planets because they were aligned. The planets are aligned. You saw the stars. You saw all this stuff. So I'm feeling like I'm in a darn spaceship in outer space because everything around us was dark and you couldn't see nothing else. So you feeling like you're not in a spaceship, but that's how I felt. Like I was in a spaceship on the Star Trek Enterprise, okay? In fact, in the back of my mind, I don't know if y'all remember Parliament Funkadelic, the funk group from back in the 70s, and they always sung about intercelestial stuff. The song that came through my mind was, swing down, sweet chariot, stop and let me ride. That's just what was going through my mind while I'm screaming, of course. I'm like, wow. And I just kept saying, wow. That's all I could say. Nothing else came to my mind. And I think 1 minute there I said, my God. Because at that point I knew, I'm like, okay, this is bigger than me. It's bigger than everybody out here. I'm telling you, an eclipse will break you down. And then what happened was when everything began to go into totality, what happens is it goes black. So for about 3 seconds, you are looking at the sun. I mean, you're not looking at the sun. You're seeing the moon there, but you're looking at the moon. And when I say that moon, it's so close, it feels as if you can reach out and touch it. You can see every slither of it. You can see the craters. You can see the magnificence of the moon, okay? Something that you don't see in the sky. You might get a glimpse of a beautiful moon during harvest moon, when we had that super moon that time and it scared everybody. But it didn't even look like that. It was more spectacular than that. You can see every color of the moon, and it's a very beautiful silver color, beautiful. Something that, it's just the colors were like contrasted, so bright. We see dimness in the sky when we look at the moon. We say it's beautiful and all, but this is nothing like what we see on an average day-to-day full moon basis. Now, this is a moon to howl at, okay? We howled, okay? Because we looking at this. This is that little 3-second span. And so, and then we're looking at, we can see the planets, we can see the stars. So you're taking this all in because you're looking up at it. And then all of a sudden, and this is how I describe the sun, because you're seeing just the moon. You're not seeing nothing of the sun at this point. You're just seeing the moon there right in front of your face. And like I said, an eclipse, I describe it as that sun and moon saying to you, y'all mortal beings, y'all mortal peons, we getting ready to show you. We getting ready to show you just how lowly you are there on that earth. And so all of a sudden, we're looking at this 3 minutes of just the moon, and they said we're going into totality now. It's just a teeny tiny, the diamond ring. And my camera did not pick that up. But my camera did pick up the spectacularness of when that corona popped out, because you saw the diamond ring, you saw the Bailey's beads, and then it just went black. And all you saw was the moon, the stars, the planets. 3 seconds later, all of a sudden, and this is how I describe it, the sun was like, punk! It just went pow! Hey, here I am, the corona. That's when everybody, I was like, good God Almighty. That's just what I said. I was like, whoa. I just went crazy, okay? And you all will see that. I'm almost embarrassed to post that. But you know what? Everybody around me, you could hear the cheering, the clapping. And it was a police officer actually standing by me. He was next to me, but he was far enough away to where he didn't pick up on my camera. If y'all had heard him, because I was telling my sister and my cousin, I was telling them this police officer was going more wild than I was. He was screaming, he was yelling, he was just tripping, okay? And I was tripping. I didn't realize how bad I was tripping during the whole thing. And so, I'm going to tell you, like I said, an eclipse will break you down. Now, let me tell you, my sister, we had a cousin who joined us because she wanted to see it, but she waited to the last minute. She got there with 20 minutes to spare. She made it. And she met us there. And so she and my sister were sitting up in the audience. I was on my scooter, so I was down at the bottom, way away from them. So I had no idea how they were reacting to it. I was just doing my thing by myself and around the people I was around. And they were up there somewhere. I later went up there. But anyway, my sister was the procrastinator the whole time. Yeah, she agreed to take me to it. We planned this, a year ago and all that. And, but I drove her crazy, and she told me, and she told everybody, my sister's driving, I'll be glad when this thing is over. She just didn't think much of it. She did not think much of it. And so, and then my cousin, she was saying she wanted to go to see it herself, but she kind of procrastinated too. And she was like, I was just going because I wanted to see your reaction because you've been talking about it and excited about it. So I just wanted to see how you would react to it. And it turned out I wasn't anywhere near them. So they were the two procrastinators, so to speak. They were the ones that, whatever, they were the whatever. They could have dealt with 99% and they would have been just fine with that. But there they were at the event. Broke them down like the two little heifers that they are. When I got up to that area where they were after it was over with, I was like, okay, so I'm thinking they're gonna say, oh, it was nice. I was like, so what did y'all think of it? I'm asking all serious because I didn't know what they thought of it. I thought they were gonna say, okay, it was nice. Like I said, that eclipse broke them down. Anytime it broke my sister down. My sister and my cousin have become Umbrophiles, okay? They are looking to go to the first they said Spain, but now since they done found out that Egypt in 2026 is also going to be part of that solar eclipse, they're making plans to go to Egypt for the 2020. I was like, And my cousin thanked me. She was like, thank you. She said, thank you. She was like, I'd never seen, even my sister's still raving about it. She was like, I want to see every eclipse that hits the earth from this day forward. They're looking at the 2044 one. They're looking at the 2033 one that's going to just be in Alaska. They're looking at every eclipse. I sent them the itinerary because they posted it on CNN today. I sent them the itinerary. I was like, okay, Umbros, here's your itinerary because I know I won't see anymore. I could always travel to Spain, I guess, if I can afford it. If I started paying on a trip now, I guess I could, but I don't like planes at all, period. And I'm not getting on no darn plane, going to another country, paying for a pass. I'm not going through all that. I mean, the eclipse was beautiful and it would be worth it if I did it. But no, I had already thanked God for at least letting me see one. I am satisfied, satisfied, satisfied. When I say, like I said, that song went, here I am. And everybody just went, that's all we could do. That's all you can do. And like I say, that event, that celestial event is the most spectacular, I think, that you can ever see. I don't think nothing else can beat it. No comet, no falling star, no meteor, nothing tops the total solar eclipse. And anyone who think that they saw anything with the 99%, my city got 99%. Oh, people are raving about it. And don't get me wrong, 99% is beautiful. A partial eclipse is beautiful. Anything that God destined to happen up in that solar system is beautiful. So I'm not knocking you. And I'm not trying to make you think that you didn't see anything. But I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all didn't see diddly squid. Y'all didn't see nothing. And what I was telling my sister today, I was like, NASA, and whatever scientists, they need to change the spectrum. They say 99%, then they say totality is 100%. You see in the full eclipse. They need to scratch that 100 out of there. They should say you're seeing 99%, and when you get to totality, you are seeing 2,000,000% of what an eclipse actually is. It goes beyond 100%. So a lot of people look at it as, okay, it's just 100%. What's the difference between 99% and 100? There is really no difference of 99, but it's not 100%. It goes into the stratosphere of percentiles. It shouldn't even be, it goes beyond equation. I'm telling you from my perspective. And anyone who has seen a total eclipse will agree with me. That's why you see these videos. See, now I know. I didn't know when I made that first video telling you I didn't know what to expect and how I was a little afraid of it and intimidated and all that stuff. I didn't know. But once I witnessed it, I'm going to say to you what Mr. David Barron, I did look up his name, and I'm going to try to post this link too in that other video, or I might post the link in this video here. What he said, that professor told him that before you die, you should witness a total solar eclipse. I'm saying it to you, okay? That little atheist, David Barron, said that. And I think he's chasing eclipses. I think that he was so awe-inspired. This is what I think. I don't know because I can't go into that man's mind. But for him to sit there and come on that darn video or that darn TED Talk and tell those people he didn't believe in God, I just don't see it. But, maybe he didn't. He said he wished he did. That's why you're chasing eclipses, mister. Because you are seeing God's work. You are worshiping God by all that you described in your video. And that's what you were doing. And so is God telling you, I'm right here. And then you still sitting up there saying you don't believe. Okay, don't believe. That's fine. Fool. But if you ever saw a total solar eclipse and you are a believer, oh, you know, that's his work all the way. Oh, and I did a news interview, y'all. But come to find out, I thought it was one of the news stations because we had Channel 13 there. We had ABC 13. We had WTOL 11 there, Toledo. And they were great. You know, they really, you know, showed out. But my interview ended up being with the media team from the place we were. And he dropped the interview to me, but I haven't received it. So I don't know if it went through because phone service was just jacked all the way there. But he did send me notice, letting me know that it will be posted on the website soon. So once that happens, I will be uploading that interview that I did. He just did a short interview. He approached me out of the whole crowd, all them thousands of people around me. I guess because I was on my scooter, and he probably figured, oh, she a good target. And so he approached me and said, do you mind doing a few a minute interview with me? And so he asked me what the eclipse meant to me. And I almost told him no. I almost told him no. But it dawned on me. I said from the beginning, this whole thing is spiritual to me. So I was like, okay. And this was prior to totality. So I was like, this is my opportunity to let people know this is God's work. So I told him it's spiritual to me. I was like, God destined this, and this is what I believe, and this is what it means to me. It's special. It's a gift to us all. I said, whether people believe or not, but those who do will understand what I am saying. And I think I left it at that. So that's what I did. And I'm so glad I got that message out because it lets me know that's probably what God wanted me to do. Just at least say it. Say it. You might not be a preacher, you might not be this or that, but you say this is spiritual to you. I'm getting ready to show you, sister. And he did, okay? As well as he showed everybody else. It's no comparison. No comparison to 99%, 89%, 9%, nothing. It's no comparison. You, before you die, if you have the opportunity, if you can get to that path of totality, I don't care if it's Spain, I don't care if it's the Egypt one. I don't care if it's the one in Alaska in 2033. I don't care if it's the eclipse of 2044. Do yourself, wait, what did he say? You owe it to yourself, and do yourself a favor and go witness that. You've got, and it's no way to explain it. For those of you who have ever seen an eclipse in its totality, feel free to comment and tell me what was your experience like, or if you agree with what I'm saying. I know some information is wrong. I'm no scientist or whatever, and I know beliefs run differently. I'm not here to debate that. I know what I believe, and you know what you believe. Let's leave it at that. But comment and tell me what your experience was, and let me know. I don't think there's a soul on this earth who have witnessed an eclipse in its totality who will not say it's the most powerful thing that you will ever see in your life. Nothing tops it. Nothing. Remember, I was telling somebody, because I was like, people say it's life-changing and this, that, and the other. And I was telling a friend, one of my friends who has seen an eclipse. And I told him, I don't think it's going to be life-changing for me. I was like, nothing was more life-changing than the death of my mother, the death of my father first, my brother second, and he was my only brother, and the death of my mother after that. That was life-changing to me. That was life-changing. I said, nothing can ever top that. Let's put it this way. The eclipse tied it. Okay? It tied it. It was life-changing. It really was. I stepped outside today to go in the garden. That sun has a new respect out of me. I don't worship the sun or nothing like that. I know who made the sun. But it has a new respect and a new admiration to me because it's something we don't look at every day. We take that sun for granted. We really do. We like the sun when it shines and whatnot. We complain about the sun when it gets too hot. We complain about the lack of sun when it gets too cold. The sun is an important part of our lives that we take for granted. And that is the one day that God has destined. Whenever there's a solar eclipse, we take the moon for granted as well. But he destined that day for those two to come together to remind us just how important they are. Like I said, bang! That sun, that's the only way I can describe it. That's my description of the corona when it pops out from behind that beautiful moon. And when I say it's a spectacular sight, when you see that silver moon, the sun doesn't outshine it in its glory when it eclipses together. Both are dancing, as I heard one meteorologist say. It's the dance of the sun and the moon, and none overshadows the other, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful sight. Okay? So do yourself that favor. View a total solar eclipse. I'll never forget that experience in all my days. Thank you very much for watching, and may God bless you all, and may the force be with you. Bye-bye.